Okay, so let us discuss Codeforces round 661 division 3 problem A. You're given an array A of n integers. You have to choose two indices I and j such that the absolute difference between ai and aj is no more than 1 and remove the smallest. If two elements are equal, we remove exactly one of them. We have to tell if we can obtain an array consisting of only one element using several such moves. So basically this is a very straightforward problem. If you read it carefully, what you can do is you can sort the array in ascending order and then check if the difference between two uh, consecutive elements is no more than 1. If that condition is satisfied throughout the array, then you print yes. Otherwise, you print no. So let's do it. First, let's take the input. So after taking the input, let us sort the array. After sorting, we should check for the condition that every consecutive element have a difference no more than 1. So if a of I plus 1 minus a of I is less than or equal to 1, then continue, else break. If I equal to n minus 1, that means the entire loop ran successfully. Otherwise, we'll print no. So let us test for this input. Yes, we are getting the correct answer. So let us submit. Yeah, we got it accepted. Yeah, we got accepted result. So now let us see problem B. You have n gifts and you want to give all of them to children. Of course, you don't want to offend anyone, so all gifts should be equal. Ith gift has AI candies and BI oranges. We can do some operations. We have 3 operations. We can eat one candy, we can eat one orange, we can eat one candy and one orange from a gift. Eating means decreasing by 1. We need to make A1 equal to A2 equal to AN, B1 equal to B2 equal to BN, like that. But we have to find the minimum number of moves to equalize candies. So what this essentially means is, I shall explain to you here. Like, for example, if one gift has 2 candies and 3 oranges, another gift has 4 candies and 5 oranges, then I have to equalize both of these. How will I equalize them? I can keep reducing this one by one and this one by one. Or what I can do, I can reduce both of them by 1. Okay, 3, 4. I can again reduce both by 1, 2, 3. In this way, I minimize the number of moves. It became only 2. If I did not do this, the number of moves would be 4 minus 2, 2, plus 5 minus 3, 2. So in this case, the minimum number of moves is 2, But if I had not done this, the number of moves would be 4. So this is what the question is asking. Find the minimum number of moves. So whenever we get an opportunity to decrease both candy and oranges, we have to make use of that. But how to solve this question? So to solve this question, basically what we will do, we will now find the minimum among all candies, and we'll find the minimum among all oranges, and then we can do something with those two. We can I'll implement the code and tell you. So basically the thing is we'll find the minimum of both candy and oranges. So I think the input is same only. Okay, it is here. So I need two variables m1 and m2 to find minimum of the candies and oranges. So while taking the input itself, I'll find the minimum. M1 represents the minimum candy, and M2 represents the minimum orange. Now what can be done? Now let us run a loop, and we need to find the minimum number of moves, right? So I'll take a sum variable. Sum variable represents the number of moves, and I'll say sum plus is max of a of I minus m1, b of I minus m2. I think this will do this will work. Okay, I had not declared B. We have to declare B. As you can see, we are getting the correct answer. I'll just submit and check once. Yeah, it got accepted. So let's see problem C. There are n people who want to participate in a boat competition. The weight of the ith participant is Wi. Only teams consisting of 2 people can participate. So each team has only 2 people, and the condition is that only teams with same total weight. Okay. So if there are k teams A1, B1, A2, B2, AK, BK, AI is the weight of the first one, BI is the weight of the second participant. So this condition should be satisfied. So the sum of pairs should be the same. So the pair sum should be the same, and we have to maximize the number of pairs we can get. We have to maximize what? We have to maximize the number of pairs we can create. This is also straightforward, I think, hashing. I think we can use set here. First, we'll find the frequency of all elements, okay? Because suppose in this example, the frequency of 6 is 6. So we can get 3 pairs. That is the answer. And the other answer that has a possibility of being the answer is we'll take what we'll do is we will first of all put all elements in the set. Reason being, we will get all unique elements. For example, in this case, 6 and 8 are the unique elements. Okay, so 6 and 8 are what? Unique elements. These are the elements. And the frequency of 6 and 8 is 6 and 2. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll find the sum of these two, that is 14. Okay, now how many elements give the sum 14? How many pairs of elements give the sum 14? The answer to that is the minimum of the frequency of 6 and the frequency of 8. These many pairs give the sum 14. So essentially what we'll do, we'll put all the elements in the set. We will get some number of elements, okay? And then what we will do is we will find the sum of all pairs. We'll find sum of all pairs. Sum of all pairs we'll find. We'll put that in a set again. Reason being, our work will be easier. We do not have to calculate, because if we put it in a vector, there will be multiple elements. So we'll put it in a set to reduce the number of elements to get the unique values only. And then we will check for every sum how many elements, how many pairs give that sum. So what we'll do, we'll put all the elements in a set, then we'll find the sum of all different pairs possible. We'll put that also in a set. Then we will find out for each sum how many elements can be formed as a pair to give that sum. So I'll implement and show you. So I think all this is required. I think I can remove this. So what I'll do is, to find the frequency, I'll just use a hash table, and I'll use a set to store the elements. This will store only the unique values, and I'll increase the frequency of every element, and I'll also keep a variable called m1. M1 will help me to find the maximum frequency element. So if maximum frequency is h of a of I, the number of pairs I can make is that by 2. For example, if the maximum frequency of 6 is 6, how many pairs I can make? 6 by 2. So this statement will handle that. Okay. Then I'll keep another variable m, which will find the maximum answer. Now I have the elements in the set. I will declare a vector. I will put all the set elements in the vector. Now I'll find the pairwise sum. I'll find what? I'll find the pairwise sum of all the unique elements in the vector. That is why I have another variable s1. I'll put all the pairwise unique sum in this set, and the condition is that I should not be equal to j. If I is equal to j, that means I am adding the same element, right? So I should not be equal to j. I want all pairs apart from the element and element itself. Like one element cannot be paired with itself. So that is why I not equal to j. I'll put this in a set. Then what I'll do, I will make another vector. Actually, I'll copy this only. I'll declare another vector and put this set here. Okay. This vector contains sum of all pairs, and this set contains all unique elements. Now what I'll do, I'll run through this vector and I will also run through the array. That is, I have to run through this array. Why am I using this vector? This vector is having all unique elements. Basically, this set and this vector are both the same thing only. They are the same. I need another variable also now, j. I'll keep a count variable. This count variable will every time help me to calculate the number of pairs. This is number of pairs possible for some v1 of I. For every sum, I'm calculating how many pairs are possible. Now I'll say if s dot count v1 of I minus v of j count plus equal to minimum of h of v of j comma h of v1 of I minus v of j. What is this? This is number of pairs possible for sum equal to v1 of I. As I explained in this example, if the sum is 14 and we have two elements 6 and 8, but frequency of 6 is 6 and frequency of 8 is 2, how many pairs we'll get? We will get two pairs, right? We can have 6 and 8 and another 6 and 8. So how did we get this 2 as answer? This is the way. Minimum of frequency of 6 and frequency of 8. So essentially that's what I'm doing. This is one element. V of j is one element. V1 of I minus V of j is another element. I'm finding the frequency of both of them. So I'll keep that, I'll store it in count, and every time I'll record the maximum. And I will output the maximum. So I'll remove this. I'll test with the sample test case. Hopefully it should be correct. You just need to know, actually not any logical thinking is required. I mean, any big thinking here. So we are not getting the answer though. We are getting the wrong answer here. So I think I made some blunder here only. Why are we getting 5 as the answer? Maybe are we finding everything correctly? Okay, we're inputting all the elements. Frequency. I'm finding the frequency here. I'm inputting all the unique elements. What can go wrong here? Okay, see, what mistake I was making was this count na. This will count all the pairs, but it will count 2 times. For example, if we count the pair 1 and 5 to give the sum 6, when I'm traversing through this vector, when I reach 1, I will get pair 1 and 5. When I reach 5, again I'll get pair 1 and 5. So it is giving duplicate pairs. So you just have to divide count by 2 and take the maximum. Then you will get the answer as I got it here. So let us do the last test. We'll submit it here. Yeah, so it got accepted. So that was the solution. So you can have a look at it again. Just find the unique elements, store it in a vector, find all unique pair sums, store that also in a vector. So this will be all unique pair sum. And then keep a count variable to count number of pairs possible for every sum. For every sum, how many pairs are possible? Like this you calculate. Don't forget the frequency. You have to take minimum of frequency of both the elements in the pair, because that is the number of pairs possible. But divide it by 2 because you will be calculating double. Every time you'll be calculating double, so divide it by 2. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Share the video with your friends. Bye.